So, last Saturday, AEW debuted its new TV program, AEW Saturday Night Collision, emanating live from the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. Obviously, we saw the return of CM Punk. We saw a brand new TNT champion. And we also saw a main event where Bullet Club Gold and Samoa Joe faced off against CMFTR and in a six-man tag team match. So I wanted to kind of know your first impressions on Collision and how it kind of stacks up against Dynamite.
I didn't think they actually overdid it the way my brain conjured. Like in my
Mm-hmm.
head, for some reason, when they were bringing up Collision being like an official brand, my
Mm-hmm.
brain kind of thought about when Triple H decided to take NXT. Well, not Triple H. Vince tried taking NXT and making an actual brand and putting it on TV, and there's a lot of
Right.
hype. And I felt like they were trying to do a lot on purpose on the first day,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't get that vibe. I felt like it was a pretty like moderate show, but like that was probably better off that way instead of just overhyping it and then not enough people watch. I felt
Mm-hmm.
like what they really wanted to get out there was try to let people know that like this is gonna be Punk's turf
Mm.
because they kind of start off the show right off with it. I thought they were gonna put his message somewhere in the middle so that you could retain viewership because of
Mm.
course like that was kind of like the incentive to watch it,
Yeah.
to listen to his message, but they kind of like put it right in the beginning and then the show kind of went down a little bit up, down a little bit up. But to me, my excitement level was about a regular Wednesday with Dynamite. Not that I'm saying it's a bad thing, but I'm wondering if they were just doing that just because they're just working on Forbidden Door and then once that gets out the way, then they're going to. But to answer like your question about like the whole competition between Dynamite and Collision, it was subtle. And you didn't
Mm.
really notice it on Collision, but you noticed it when Punk decided to make a comment saying, like, I'm not even supposed to be here. Like, I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
on Collision. Like it I like how he's kind of reiterating that, yeah, like there are gonna be two turfs, therefore two rosters or whatnot. That I'm on possibly the next A show. The next A show. So it could be, but right now I feel like they're gonna go about it in a slow crescendo. But what do you think?
I think that I kind of, piggybacking off of what you agree, I think that Collision solidified a couple of things. Um, that this is the CM Punk show. That he will be kind of the guy spearheading everything as it pertains to the visual and the aesthetic aspect of this show. What I will commend Tony Khan for is that he has a really good knack for making all of his products feel different in some way, shape, or form. Like when I
Hmm.
was watching Collision, obviously I love hearing Kevin Kelly. I love hearing Nigel McGuinness on commentary. Um, if you noticed during Collision, it wasn't super high fly. It wasn't too acrobatic. It felt like traditional wrestling for a Saturday night, and it felt like a real true callback to like a WCW Saturday night show. So I thought that that was a very, very interesting choice. I don't think that that was by accident. I think that was by intention. So I think that that was a couple, like another thing that I noticed. Um, as it pertains to how it stacks up, I think that this, like you said, I think that they kind of hinted at it subtly when Punk was just like, I'm not even supposed to be here. But I think that there is going to be kind of a very, very big brand distinction between the two. And I think that fans are going to enjoy both shows a lot. But I love Collision. Like, I love the way that it looks, I love the way that it feels. It feels like an extended version of Rampage. It feels like bell to bell action, good wrestling, good promos. It doesn't feel too sports entertainment y like Dynamite does, if you know, if you get my gist. But and I think that, like you said, I don't think that they, were intentionally hyping this up or trying to make this a crazy, crazy show because once again, they have Forbidden Door coming up and then they're going to start that build to All In. But I do believe that they did a good job of kind of managing expectations. And I think that part of, them being able to successfully manage expectations allowed for some pretty interesting changes and twists during the show. For example, when Luchasaurus won the TNT championship, I don't think that anybody saw that coming or expected that, but because they didn't like hype up anything, the expectations were kind of moderate, and thus anything that was outside of the original expectation that we had for the show was a very, very big, pleasant surprise. Like, oh wow, Luchasaurus is doing that. But yeah, that was kind of my opinions on Collision. Did you have anything else to add to that, or?
No, I just really like that comparison that you made with the I guess Wednesday being more entertaining and more flippy divey,
Yeah.
and then more concrete wrestling on Saturday. Because I didn't think about that until you said it. I'm like, yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's why I liked it, and I wonder if they did it on purpose. If that's the roster they set up on purpose to give you two different variations of wrestling, because you do have two different types of viewers that watch wrestling. You do get people that just like love watching pro wrestling because they grew up on the East, so they love like that sports entertainment factor,
Right.
and they don't really like to see all like the flips and dives because to them their brains just kind of communicate indie. So I wonder if that was like on purpose or if
Mm,
that just happened to be how the show looked like on Saturday. Because if that's his case, I feel like that's very smart
it
to
is.
retain viewers because then you could kind of like maintain like the Monday, Wednesday, Friday people, or if you just like straight up wrestling, I mean, you could just kick it and watch Saturday if you have nothing else to do. But I do feel like I do see competition. I just feel like it has to be like a slow brew. Other than that, I think they did a good job with Collision.
I agree with you. I think we're gonna segue on that note. Let us know how y'all felt about Collision. If there was anything that we missed, let us know in the comments below. But we're gonna move on because